we are here, right here on Focus on You with Phil. And Oscar's absent today because he's got some stuff he's got to do. But it's good to be back. It's good to be on. For all of you who watch the program, either while it's live or while when it's posted on our platform, love you, thank you, and really appreciate you. We have a great guest for you today. It's an amazing guy. He was on our Power of Breakfast this morning and shared some really wonderful things about the commercial real estate market. Yeah, so for those of you who've always been curious and it's been a mysterious place for you, you wanted to learn a little bit more about the commercial real estate space, tap into your friends, your loved ones, and he's going to share some secrets with us. So you want to start taking notes. Get that notepad. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you got your notepad. You're ready to go. All right. So before we go to our featured guest, I'm going to show you a little bit about what Phoenix National Network is up to. All right. So, of course, this is our platform. If you want to find out more, you can go to pnnstationplus.com. That is pnnstationplus.com. And you'll be able to find out about everything that we're doing here on the Phoenix National Network. We are partnered with some awesome entrepreneurs because our platform is based and built around entrepreneurs. All right. That's people who have a vision and a mission statement of their own that they are destined to fulfill. And it's just in your heartbeat, man. You know, you wake up every morning and it's something that you're driven to do. So join us. You can meet some fascinating, interesting folks, and you'll be able to partner with the business and the vision that you have so you can have some help to make it happen. All right, so what you're looking at here on this first page is our meetings that we have on Thursdays at 8 a.m. and on Fridays for you guys who are on the West Coast, Fridays at 12 p.m. We have a few West Coast partners that are 8 a.m. on Thursdays is just too early for them. So, of course, 12 o'clock. On Fridays is a great time for you to join us. If you would like to invite your friends and loved ones, right below is invite a friend and earn. If you'd like to earn a $25 gift card, you just have to invite a friend. And there you go, $25, right? If they join, it's $25, all right? Also, you have to register, just like you have to do for Netflix or Hulu or any other platform. You got to register to watch what they got on their platform. So if you have a Roku and an Amazon Fire TV streaming device, you go to our website, PNN Station Plus. You click where that little arrow is pointing at, and you can register to watch some of the programs that we have broadcasted on our platform. We have 2 new programs that we're streaming. First, we have Mr. Master Connector himself, Steve Sparrow. And he is broadcasting here on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. It is not going to be posted on the platform, so if you miss it, you miss it. All right, so you want to make sure you get on there, see some of the awesome people that he gets as guests on his platform, and you can learn a little bit about how you can increase your life and your lifestyle, as well as Mr. Lowesmore on The Blueprint on Sundays at 7 p.m. He's interviewed celebrities like Denzel Washington and Isaiah Thomas and much more, politicians, all the stuff you want to hear. If you want to hear the inside scoop on things or just kind of like learn a little bit more about those of us who have made it through to the top of the hill, that's a nice program to watch because, hey, we all want to learn how to be successful at what we do. So, okay, join us again on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Both of those programs that I just mentioned are live. So if you miss it, if you miss the times, you're going to have to wait till next week, guys. All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, so we would love for you to support our YouTube channel. It is the Phoenix National Network on YouTube. So please reach out there, subscribe, share, and like, because guess what? You're supporting your local entrepreneur. We sponsor two nonprofit organizations. One is One Tough Cookie. She is one that supports those who are going through cancer. We would love for you to come jump on the website, PNN Station Plus, and support our nonprofit organizations. We have one that is coming up soon, which is supporting the military wives, giving them work or jobs to do while their husbands are serving. I'm very much ready and interested to do that. So I know that those of you who are watching will be interested in that as well. Very much loving the aspect of supporting our military. All right. So now, if you decide to join us and you have a podcast that you'd like to broadcast on all of these platforms that you see below here, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook, and more, we have a support system for you. So we have a free 30-minute consultation so we can get you started. We have a web designer that you can hire to promote your site or to build a site for you, a social media manager, and more. I'm telling you, we have everything from soup to nuts to help you be successful in your podcasting. We've also partnered with Get Seen Strategies, and they're a phenomenal company that will help you get started in marketing and very affordable as well. You want to make sure you take advantage of that once you become a part of the Phoenix National Network. Here are some of our partners who podcast with us. And you would get a chance to network with them as well. If you want to be invited to their program or on their shows, just reach out. It's that simple. And you can find out more. Also, I'd love to thank my team, those who helped me to make this happen. They are phenomenal, and I'm supported. I want to support them as well. So reach out to our team. We have realtors, money multipliers, and more counselors if you're needing counseling, and much more. Let's say you want to join us. Here you go. Let's get started. Make an appointment with me, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how to get started. All right. That is it for the PNN update. Thank you very much for listening in. Now we have our special guest, Mr. Darren Gordon, who is going to tell us a little bit more about himself as well as what he does. All right, take those notebooks out because you're going to want to hear what he has to say. I'm really, really fascinated with this guy. I think he's amazing, and I think you will too. Mr. Gordon,
Hey, Phil.
what's
Great.
happening?
It's good. It's great to be here with you. I love the intro, and I'm quite fascinated about what you do here also on the Phoenix National Network. It's been uh, really interesting to jump on and be part of your program. And I would agree that you should have some of those people out there who are wondering what it's like speak to you, because I was one of those people too. I was very scared about coming on a program or presenting myself to the world, but you made it seem so easy, and I'm comfortable to come on and talk to you and share what I can and hopefully help other people out there.
Awesome, awesome,
I
man.
loved your
Yeah.
intro also about when you were talking about entrepreneurial, because so
Mhm.
many of the people that are probably listening to you do have that spirit. I certainly am one of those. And that's why I wanted to share about my journey.
Absolutely, man. I think being an entrepreneur is a special thing because it takes vision and it takes passion to really courage to really start something that you just have it in here. It's like you feel it. You're like, yeah, I know that I can do this. And sometimes we get deterred by different things, especially people. But we have to press in and do it. But tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, how did you get started in the whole commercial real estate? I mean,
Yeah.
tell us.
No, that's all. What's very interesting about it and fascinating is that I've got started like uh, through my last business. So
Hmm.
before I decided that I would be a commercial real estate agent, in my former business as a retail furniture store owner, I was often dealing with landlords at different locations, making deals, and I realized that I had a lot of knowledge already um, to do this job. And
Hmm.
so that was really how I got started. It was my curiosity about the people I was working with, often real estate agents, about what they did and what their job was like. And a lot of it seemed interesting to me.
Oh, nice, nice.
What I
So, I mean, I heard that it's really difficult, man. Uh,
It is, it can be, because as a commercial real estate agent or broker, you're not receiving a salary or a paycheck. It's
mhm.
commission based only. And for a lot of people, that is an obstacle, certainly getting started, where it can take up to 2 or 3 years before you start to feel comfortable with your own income. And so you do need support to get started as a real estate agent, whether it's residential or commercial.
All right, awesome, man. What is it like for you? Like, I know you have a family, and you have things like that. You have to balance. How do you balance both working for yourself and family?
Yeah, so we all have our own strategies and ways to cut out time or put borders so that one doesn't impede on the other. But real estate does bleed into your life. And often people that are successful
Mhm.
know and would probably agree it's a 24/7 lifestyle. That doesn't mean you're constantly on the phone or you'll take any phone call in the middle of the night. But if you are in the middle of a deal, you might. Um, Life happens, as they say, and you have to be able to pivot and react quickly in real estate, um, especially when there's deals on the line.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so
Pivoting.
you gotta love, you gotta be in it. You gotta really love it, and it becomes part of what you do daily. So it is a kind of job that's exciting. You get to work with different people, different, all different kinds of uses. And I've had all kinds of interesting deals that I've made. So no two are the same.
Mhm.
If you're a person who likes variety, it's a great career. It's certainly an adventure, and the journey is what it's all about. And that doesn't change. So no matter who we are, the journey and the entrepreneurial, they're related.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if I'm looking for like real estate property, right?
Yeah,
What do I need to have in place? Like, I mean, first of all, who do you represent, and
yeah,
like, what do you
sure.
need to have in place to kind of like do something like that?
Well, I'll answer that, and then maybe we'll go into the presentation that I have, and that's geared towards some of this. And hopefully, you'll ask me questions and keep it interactive. But
Absolutely.
it's really all about your requirements and needs. Everybody's is different. And so when I work with people, both an owner of a property or somebody looking for a property, it's really about what their motivation is, what they want to get out of it. The
Hmm.
mechanics, how a deal's made, the negotiations, that's all exciting and that's juicy drama. But what's most important is that if you have the right person,
Hmm.
they're protecting your interest and they're going to hit your requirements. Not everybody gets everything in life or in business, but you get what you need to do what you want. And so it
Oh,
really
nice.
depends on what your business is.
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, let me jump into this. Let's jump into this presentation here.
All right. I've got to just make sure I can move it along. So, yeah, this is a presentation I did not too long ago, and I'll run through it kind of quickly. But there's some interesting stuff in here that answers some of those questions. My why is let's see, how do I move this along? I'm going to go through my why, how I got here, how I became a real estate agent, 10 things you can do that take zero talent. That's always a good one. How I can
Hmm.
help tenants with a commercial lease and how to contact me. So
Nice.
let me just click along here. Okay, you seeing the next slide, Phil?
Yes. Hmm.
All right. Well, here's my why. It's my family. Like a lot of people out there watching or listening, uh, it's the situation you're in. You have a wife, you have kids, you have parents, you have people that are dependent on you. And that's me. These are the people that I do everything that I can for. It's my three sons and my wife, Nancy. That is my why.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I just thought I'd share that picture. How I got here. Okay, I got into a little bit of that with you, but I went to Syracuse University. I was in the School of Management. I was part uh, inspired always by my father, who's in the bottom right photo. He was part of a family furniture business. You see a location there. Um, and a couple of the people that I worked with. But that entrepreneurial spirit was always in my blood through my father and the family and the business that he operated. And so in that business, I had multiple stores, or we had multiple stores, and dealing with the leases or the purchase of those locations was always fascinating. Um, our business was furniture and helping people get the furniture through financing, but it was the location where you would do business. And this was long before online became so important. This business
Hmm.
started over 50 years ago, and it was really all about brick and mortar. So, with brick and mortar, you needed to have a lease, and the owner of that building was essentially your partner. And so I learned a lot about that through the agents and people I dealt with and the owners that I met along the way and the deals that we made. So, how I became a real estate agent, the fascination of that real estate, the deals, the leases led me to want to get a license, which I did through Westchester Community College. And
Hmm.
then I received an opportunity with David Richmond at Rakow Commercial. And that was several years ago. When I started with David, I was still working in my family furniture business. But after a short time, I realized that this was my future. And I really enjoyed it right from the first minute and the first deal. And it's still that way today. Every day I wake up, I can't wait to get to work and do more commercial real estate deals and help people. So here's
It's amazing. It's amazing how you make that first deal. You see that first paycheck, and you go, "Oh yeah, this is for me."
And not only that, it's the success, and you feel
Mm.
like you've done something good when you've helped somebody set up their business at a commercial location that meets their requirements, where they can now make money and let their dreams become their reality. And being part of that is always something that I enjoy. So, a couple of these photos are some of the success I had when I was with Rakow. I switched over to a different firm about 7 months ago. So I work now at Houlihan Lawrence Commercial. Here, we have a very popular name in Westchester and Southern Connecticut, known for residential, but we are really strong in commercial. And I work out of their commercial office where I do commercial real estate only. So, how did I get started? This I found interesting, and I love to share this because when I was just getting started in commercial real estate, some people said, fake it till you make it, read everything you can, get lots of meetings and learn and learn. But when I stumbled upon things that you can do that take zero talent, I realized that I was already started because some of these I was doing already. So one is being on time. And this,
Mm.
people love this because it applies to no matter what your profession or job is. Being on time, right? What's more effective than being on time? We all know when somebody's late or doesn't show up how you feel, but when you're on time, somebody's always happy to see you. Making an effort. That's something that doesn't take a lot of talent, but sometimes people get lazy. Something else you could do is be high energy. Okay. If
Mm.
you love what you're doing, if you really enjoy it, it's going to show. You have energy towards that subject. Another is having a positive attitude. Um, Getting up every morning and loving what you do, or feeling like something good is going to happen today, that is so important to all of us that it can't be said enough. Being passionate, similar, but when you speak about something, what are you giving off? What is that other people seeing and receiving from your passion? Next, that takes zero talent, is using good body language, and that's tied to being passionate. Here's a good one: being coachable. Often we all think we know everything about everything, but letting people give you a tip and taking it to heart so that you can use that, that's important. Doing a little extra, well, that speaks for itself. When you're doing extra, people notice, and that's who gets the business. Being prepared, always important. Don't show up without a pen, paper, and pad, or whatever it is, tools that you use, your computer, your phone. For me, it could be comps or it could be information about properties, but always be prepared. And last, like you, Phil, no, having a strong work ethic. What beats that? Nothing. You have to like working, and if you do, it'll show. So let me go on to the next screen here
Wait
because
one second. Let's go back there for a minute.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You have some really interesting tips here. 10 things you can do that take zero talent. Uh, do you think that like I'm looking being prepared, right?
Yes, sir.
I love that aspect of it because it's like he who fails to plan plans to fail. And I think preparedness is planning. Like, how do you go about planning and strategizing?
Well, one is always to have some insight and know your customer. And
Mm,
the relationship that you build with people comes through conversation. It's listening. A lot of it is listening. So, listening is so close to being loved that some people cannot tell the difference. When you're
nice.
listening to people, you're learning.
Hmm.
When you're talking, you're not.
Simple as that.
Pretty much. So being prepared is
Hmm.
about knowing what you need to do that helps that person. And if you didn't listen, you're just trying to sell something, it's
Right.
never going to work. You see, people often peg real estate to sales. They say, "Oh, you're a
Mhm.
salesman." Not really, because I don't have anything to sell you particularly until I know what it is that you're looking for. And
Right.
so it's really about giving you guidance, wisdom, and knowledge so that you don't have pitfalls, or you don't have, uh, you're not missing out. Let's say somebody is covering the things that you don't know. And that's what a
Exactly.
good agent will do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's just I love these 10 things, and most people do, because when you say zero talent, it doesn't mean you're not talented. It means you are
Right.
talented, but here's little things that'll make you stand out from anybody else. And even doing two or three of these will
Hmm.
get noticed.
But I mean, it's a foundation, right?
Yes, sir.
Because even I've been in sales very long time. I was in sales since I was like when I got my working papers. My first sales job was selling shoes, you know, and it's really about yourself. Sometimes people have no idea about product, but they meet you, they like you, they trust what you're saying is accurate, and then they can make a better buying decision, for the most part. So, all of these come into factor, being on time, making an effort, I think you had somewhere where you said do something extra,
Yep.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, here it is, do a little extra. I think all of these, it does matter because that little bit extra might be the thing you need to do more than the competition, or
Mhm.
do just what your customer is looking for. So these are amazing tips. Amazing.
Well, here's another one. You never know what you look like through someone else's eyes. Okay.
Wow.
And if you're trying to, and you're authentic, right?
Mhm.
Authentically willing to do a little extra. It's authentic. You have a strong work ethic. You are high energy. It'll
Right.
show and it'll get noticed, but you don't know what people notice. We like to decide for somebody else what we want them to notice, but that isn't necessarily what gets noticed. You don't get to
That's true.
know what it is that person you're talking to or meeting, what it is that is really their, pushes their button, what it is that makes you stand out to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Right. Like the filter that what filter are they looking at you through?
Yeah.
Right. And most people make their judgment call, based on that.
Well,
Just
let's flip it around. Do you
mm,
want to work with somebody who's low energy, who's not passionate, and has a bad attitude and bad language, body language? Like
sure.
like that's it's pretty simple,
No,
right? But
very
think about
simple. That's
but
very simple.
but how
Yeah,
many people do we meet daily where you might judge them based on that?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. I,
and
I
you
do.
know,
I do. I do. I mean, because we're sensory like that, right?
right,
And you want to feel, you don't just want to hear someone, you want to feel them too.
right.
You,
And
you
for
know?
all of us, it could be something as simple as the guy behind the counter where you get your coffee. Like that guy's so great. Even though there's better coffee across the street, I love that guy. He always makes me feel good, so I keep going back to that guy or gal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you have more in your presentation. I want to hear the rest. This is great.
Well, the rest of my presentation, really, which I've done for other people, is how I can help others in commercial real estate. So I'll go through some of these screens and not going to take too long. But the next one is how I help tenants with a commercial lease.
Hmm.
So there's 8 things here where I begin. So this is kind of like the format that I use.
Hmm.
Number one is to define the requirements, which we touched upon already. And so if I was talking to you about your business, Phil, it's
Yes.
specific to you. What are your requirements? Tell me about what you need. And that's what I'm going to search for and bring to you. I alleviate the pain of you having to do it yourself. I'm going to do it for you. And the best part is when I'm helping tenants, I get paid by the other side. Okay. There's no cost to you for having me on your team. Okay. I get paid a commission eventually from the owner where I bring you, where you make that perfect match. So, number one on the list is always to define the requirements and get to know that person. So,
Hmm.
that leads us to number two, which is to locate suitable properties based
Right.
on what you told me. Maybe it's your parking, maybe it's distance from your home, and we could go on with many. I found some that meet your requirements. So what do we do next? We go and tour them. And let's say we have 5 properties. We'll go look at every one of them, me and you. And we'll then decide which ones have merit, which ones you don't like. And it could be 2 or 3 you like, because when
Hmm.
you have more horses in the race, you're definitely more likely to win. Number
Absolutely.
4 would be to make a proposal to the lease. So out of, let's say, 3 spots or 2 spots, you say, you know what? I'd like to go forward with this one. And I'll help you make a letter of intent. You and I would go through that together and we would hand that in to the owner of a property. And that's our proposal, what we're willing to do if they were willing to give us that space.
What do you consider when you're making a proposal?
Most importantly, are the term, the length of the lease, the price, the
Hmm.
size, and those are really the big ones. Of course,
Okay.
some of the other is security deposit, your ability to pay, so your financials, and maybe your credit. So uh, the landlord wants to know a lot about who wants to rent their space because, as I said a little bit earlier, You're going into business together, even though you're not. The
Mm-hmm.
landlord wants to have you execute the full lease, which means you stay the entire time. If it was a 5 year lease, he wants to make sure you're going to be able to stay all 5 years of the lease.
Mm-hmm.
They're not giving you a lease for 3 years, they're giving you a lease for 5 years.
5 years.
Well, if
Yeah.
your life is too fragile and there's changes within that, you may decide to leave early. And what is that going to look like? And he's not going to get his money, and not at all just goes south. But,
Down the drain.
well, in that, I'm always going to point out to whoever it is I'm working with what can happen, what are some of the possibilities, and how do we prepare for that. And that comes later down the list. But once we have a proposal and you're willing to move forward, it's basically just the terms. And here it would say, yes, I'm Phil. This is my business. Here's what I'm willing to pay for X amount of space for 5 years. And here's when I'd like it to start. And so those are the basics.
Oh, say. Got it.
After we have that and hand that in, you and I, or whoever I'm working with, would start planning out space planning and architect evaluation. What do you need that space to look like? We might have looked at a space that was previously a restaurant and you want to open a bicycle store. Well, we got to get all that restaurant equipment out of there. We'd have to make new plans for what does a bicycle store look like. So that's step 5 is planning, getting an architect involved, and really going into what it's going to take, because that also will determine how much money you're going to need to spend. Number 6, we go to analyzing the response that we received from the landlord. We've given them our plans at that point,
Mm-hmm.
what we'd like to do with their space. So we're going to take their restaurant, we're going to turn it into a bike store, and here's what it's going to look like, Mr. Owner. And
Or
he's
you can
going
turn
to,
it into a restaurant bike score.
exactly, it could go to anything.
Yeah.
And the landlord will decide if he's willing to do that. He's going to give you back a counter. And so you're going to analyze the response from that landlord. That'll be step number 6.
Nice.
After that, all the terms and all the small talk is done, and you're ready to get a lease. And a lease is the actual legal document, once fully executed, that gives you legal rights. And so when you've had and signed a fully executed lease,
Mm-hmm.
you own that space. You're on the hook, as they say. And
Oh,
it's your
nice.
responsibility now. Whatever you've agreed to in the
Even though
terms,
it's a lease. Got it. Got it.
in this case, we're talking about a lease, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you would be entirely held responsible to what you agreed to do, and that is the lease. And so for the landlord as well. He's agreed something in that lease, and maybe he's agreed to give you a premise that'll always have a dry roof because he's going to take care of a dry space because he's going to take care of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That would be his responsibility, not yours. Everything in that lease is spelled out legally, agreed upon, and if needed to be um, brought to a law to a court, that's the instrument that will determine what the judge decide.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it gets
I
heavy.
didn't know. I didn't know you had to go before a judge on this stuff. Something like this.
If for whatever reason things go south, you don't have to go through a judge. But
Right.
this is all in the event that one party doesn't uphold their end of the lease. Usually, you might go to arbitration first,
Right.
but if not, you may end up in court. Let's just say again the idea that you rented a space and the landlord was supposed to make sure that the roof was good and he didn't, and it was wet inside and all of your bicycles got ruined. Well, that's his fault because he had promised to keep your
Mm-hmm.
space dry and he didn't. Therefore, unless he gives me back the money he owes me for the bicycles that are no longer good, I'll have to sue him. And of course, this is not what you want to have to do, but you would need a lease that'll prove what he's agreed to and what you've agreed to. So that's the lease. And the last step is closing the transaction. That's usually the most fun. That's when the landlord's getting his money and you're getting the keys. And that's when your dreams start to take shape because now you have the keys to your new space and you're going to build your business over the next 5, 10 years or
You hear
whatever.
the voice of the angels at your closing. Here are the keys. Now get your stuff in.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's,
Well, for the landlord, it's you have the lease. This is what we agreed to. Just where's my rent?
show me the money.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's nice. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So yeah, I'll just. I mean, these next slides we've just went through most of it, so I'll just go through these kind of quick.
Hmm.
Phil, again, defining the requirements is identifying the space requirements in advance will save time and avoid starting in the wrong direction, and that's where I help you get organized. Um, Locating the suitable properties. That's where we become familiar with the tools. That's I have the tools for searching.
Hmm.
These are some tips that I use, but we're locating properties. Next is touring the properties, which we've discussed. Going out to visit, um, preparing a lease, making a proposal, also known as a letter of intent. Moving along, we went through
Hmm.
space planning and architect evaluation. Um, this part is where analyzing the response from the landlord. So this is the negotiation going back and forth on the terms. Here was the contract. We have a lease, and usually with a lawyer, we're negotiating and getting through all that. And then, of course, the last one, closing the transaction, which,
Wow.
as we just said, was getting the keys and moving in, starting your business.
All right.
So my last
What
slide on my presentation,
I have
just
no
some
wait. I
happy
have a quick question.
photos.
I have a quick question for you, Darren.
Yes,
That
sir.
part there, I heard that sometimes when you do a commercial property, a portion of your profit there's a contract or something like that where a portion of your profit goes to the owner. Is that right? Am I?
Um, there are situations, and no, everyone is different. Yes, a owner could have a lease where you're required to pay a percentage of your sales or something of that nature. Uh, I always try to avoid to stay away from that.
Okay.
It could get very
It gets
complicated
complicated.
and
Yeah,
cumbersome.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
idea of that, Phil, and it does
Mhm,
exist, and often it's restaurants or some other business where an
mhm,
owner might give you a concession to start you at a lower rent
mhm,
because it may take you time, right? Restaurants take a little while to find a following and get up
mhm,
and running. So your restaurant in the first year or two, although you might have get great food, might not get recognized or be super popular. And so if
right.
the landlord gave you a low rate to get started, but wanted to have a percentage of your increases, that's the idea that look, he gave you something so you could get to that point, and you've agreed that when your business hits a certain level, you'll give him a percentage of that because
Mhm.
without him, you would not have been there. But
Okay.
again, it's difficult because when you have the landlord sharing in your success, it gets a little bit complicated.
Go figure that. Go figure that. What are these pictures here?
These are just some of my happy moments when I've closed deals and where I like to spend some of my time
In the
kayaking
bushes?
out.
In the bushes in the water? Where is that? That's
Uh,
Florida?
no, believe it or not, that's New Jersey and Point Pleasant. Uh,
That's New Jersey? Oh,
that's right.
wow.
Yeah, not very far away. So have kayak, will travel. Yeah, I love to be
Oh,
outside. I love to ski and mountain bike, kayak, and be outside. I find nature is always very invigorating and makes me feel really good.
Oh, that is awesome, man. That is awesome. That's
So
I
my
love.
last slide, I'll just put up here my name and number and address, email address where you could find me if anybody is looking. My telephone number there, hope you can read it, is 917-596-4789. So that was a presentation I gave to a group of people not too long ago to share what I do. And I hope that was helpful to you and your listeners and watchers.
I mean, that was amazing. I learned a lot. I did. I like your fundamental principles. I think that is like phenomenal. That I think that's a foundation of why you're good at what you do is because you have a discipline that you kind of follow. I think the discipline that you develop is a system that makes you successful.
Yeah, that and the passion. And, I'm frankly in a second career. So this is part of a journey for me. And starting over was not easy. And if anybody out there is listening or curious about talking about how I did it, and I'd be glad to share that with you. It's not easy. Taking those first steps
Hmm.
and trying something new, we're always afraid. And as I said earlier on to you, doing this program is not something I was always comfortable with many years ago.
Hmm.
But being able to tell your story and share and something that should come natural. So without being
Absolutely.
too self-conscious and you know stopping myself because I'm overanalyzing it, just go with it and give yourself the confidence that you will get it done.
You never know who you're going to help.
Yeah,
I've learned that in doing this for the last three plus years. I've learned that you just never know who you're going to help with your information that you have. So, especially with the amount of platforms and space that we broadcast on, if you're listening audio wise, or you're watching by video, I mean, I know there are a lot of people that just wondering. For me
yeah,
personally, commercial real estate has always been since this mystery career, right? It's like,
yeah,
oh, it's out there,
yeah.
right? Residential real estate, you see it everywhere, HGTV, all that. You have up to this day, we haven't seen a show on commercial real estate.
It's not easy, and you're not wrong, Phil. I mean, I do live my life with trying things that are difficult. And I
Right.
do like that the idea that you just take slow steps. I always think about when I first started mountain biking and how difficult it was and how poor I was at it. But
Right.
one of my favorite Zig Ziglar quotes is anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you do it right.
Ooh, nice.
Like,
Nice.
so again, like
Good quote.
how did we meet? And I'd love to talk a few minutes about that. Was through Master Networks.
Right.
And a lot of people in these organizations are starting something new or trying a new job. Networking and finding a group and a sounding group that can help you is so important. And I love to give back. So when I joined that group, so many people I met, just like you, or Steve Spiro, or
Hmm.
Oscar, or Tina Campbell, it doesn't matter. They're people who want to share, give you confidence, and make you believe that there is a way you will get this done. There is light, but it
Hmm.
doesn't end. It's always just a journey to get better
Absolutely.
at what you do and keep
Hmm.
giving back to other people, and good things will come to you. You get
Absolutely.
by giving.
You get by, you know what? That's a great place to end today. You get by giving. And that's been an absolute truth. I've learned from doing that. Darren, thank you so much for coming on. Focus on you. Share your information again, just one more time for those that may have missed it.
Sure. Um, it's my telephone number is always the best way to get me by, let me see. Can I put this card up again? Is it up there?
Yep.
Okay. So my cell phone number is 917-596-4789. And the way to get me on email is my name, Darren Gordon at houlihanlawrence.com. You Google me, you'll find me. I'm out there and I'd love to speak with you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. Our guest today was Darren Gordon, who is into commercial real estate. You've heard his information. You've seen and heard what I now know you agree with me. One of the greatest guys on the planet. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Darren, again for coming on, and we will see you again next week. Take care,
Thanks, Phil.
everybody. Have a good one.